Hey everybody, welcome to Journey Through the Generations, and we are so happy to be back with another episode of the podcast.
Yes, I'm actually really excited about this podcast because we're going to be talking about something that I feel like I don't talk enough about.
Yeah, so it's March. You may be listening to this after March, and that's okay.
It is.
But it is March, and so that means it's Women's History Month. And so we thought that it would be a good idea to talk about some of the women in our lives and why we're happy to have them in our lives or have had them in our lives, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. And I know personally in my research, I have researched a lot of men in my family and a lot of men ancestors. And I don't feel like I talk enough about the women that have impacted our family and have left a huge legacy as well. So this I'm super excited about.
Yeah, and because I'm newer to my family research, and I haven't researched as many people in my family as Trisha has in hers. It's a little bit more difficult for me to talk about, but me being able to talk about my mama,
right,
is easy to do. So my mama, let me tell y'all something about my mama. If you knew my mama, you know that she would do anything for you if
Absolutely.
she could, if she had the means. Mama was always doing something for everybody. She did stuff for people at the church in general. Mama used to decorate the church for all the holidays, and just our regular, church
springtime,
decorations.
wintertime.
She worked at the church. She cooked.
She church programs.
She did church programs. Mama, she took care of us. 4 kids. Mama was just kind of just a all-around good person.
Yeah, and it's not just
she's still here.
And it's not just about church. She would do stuff for people in the community, people in the neighborhood. She immediately embraced me and my family when I first met Philip and his family. She was so open and so warm, and she, brought me in the kitchen and was like, okay, well, this is what I'm cooking tonight. This is what I need you to do. And she just, never questioned me or anything about it, and she just she's just a wonderful person.
Yeah, I tell you, if you came and said I need something to eat, Mama will feed you.
She's gonna figure it out,
and she still does that. You hear stories about people's grandparents and parents who just did all this great stuff for people in the community and always cooked and all these things in the church. That's my mama.
That is her.
And even to this day, when she makes food, she'll make way more than what it needs to be, and she'll give it to other people.
Yeah, she'll give it to the neighbor across the street, or she'll make sure we have food to bring home to put in the freezer so we can eat at a different time. If she knows that, my mom is in town when we're in town, she makes sure that she gets a plate. She's just giving in general.
Yeah, and the good thing, for me, that's so great about Mama is that her kids are the way we are, largely because of her. And so I know how to cook and clean and iron and wash clothes. I can sew. Well, I can pretend like I sew. I know kind of what I'm doing.
I do.
But all that kind of stuff, I learned from my mama. And my sister is the great mother that she is today because of my mama.
Right.
So yeah, this Women's History Month, my dedication goes out to my mama, and of course all the other women in my family that I know,
right,
and those that I don't quite know yet.
Yes.
So,
and don't forget that you are your mother's namesake and you share a birthday with her as well.
I do. So I think, I'm her favorite child.
I didn't say that.
So
that wasn't me that said that.
You don't have to say it.
Okay.
I'm saying
I just want to go on record.
And it's the truth. So,
okay.
You don't even have to ask her. I just trust,
I would never.
Trust me on this. So, so anyway, happy Women's History Month to my mama. I love you.
Yes.
Who are you talking about?
I will be talking about two people, actually. And this goes very well because I was actually able to speak at a genealogy society's chapter this month for Women's History Month. And I spoke about my grandmothers, both of them, my maternal and paternal grandmothers, and how they received their education in the 1930s and 40s in rural Arkansas was the subject of what I talked about to them. And I always saw them growing up as Granny and Madeir. A lot like your mom, they fed the community. They did whatever they could for the church and their neighbors. They were in the Order of the Eastern Star and things like that. But when I was younger, of course, they were older, and I didn't know all of the great things that they had accomplished in their life. Because if you think about the 1930s and 40s, being a Black woman in Arkansas, rural Arkansas, that was not a priority for the community, the state, the world to educate Black little girls. And both of my grandmothers were able to go to high school. My maternal grandmother went to private school. My paternal grandmother, she had to move away because there wasn't a high school in our hometown. So she moved 100 miles away to attend high school. And then they went on to HBCUs to further their education in college. I knew education was important to our family, and it has always been important, but I didn't know the legacy started with my grandmothers and the fact that they were able to achieve this education during a time when a lot of Black women were not going to high school and college. So I dedicate this Women's History Month to my grandmothers, Ernestine Wright Hatchett and Gladys Denson Mays.
And I didn't, so when I came along, Madeir had already passed.
Yes.
And then your granny was ill bedridden when I came along in the late 90s.
Yes.
So I did get a chance to meet her, but she wasn't able to, talk or whatever before she passed. But I feel like if I had known both of them, they would have loved me, of course. That goes without saying.
Okay. But they would have fed you for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like with Madeir, she would have fed me real good.
Oh, yeah.
And your granny would have taught me something.
Yes. Yes, that is absolutely
it
right.
It doesn't matter what it is. I feel like she would have taught me something.
Yes, that is absolutely them to a T. And like I said, our family's legacy and foundation starts with education. And it wasn't until I started doing this research that I even learned that Madeir went to private school, that there was even a private school in Woodruff County for Black people. So this research has made it possible for me to learn about their lives before they were married, before they had children, before they were grandmothers, and see the things that they did in the community as well. And when I say I was always proud of them, and I always, thought so highly of them just for the legacy of the community that they had, in the community that they had. But learning them more information about them as I do this research, I can't explain how amazing that they were.
And just me helping you out with your presentation, I learned some things. I didn't know there was a private school for Black kids, in Arkansas.
Yeah.
And so, I think that's really good.
Yeah, they did.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they, continued to work outside of the home during the 50s and 60s while raising children. And they were just remarkable women that I will always speak highly of and will always hold very high regard for. And I'm just proud, and I hope that they continue to be proud of the work that I'm doing in celebrating them and our family.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. So to all the women out there who have played parts in their families' lives and done a lot of different things. No matter what it is, we appreciate you. We celebrate you, not just during Women's History Month, but every day of the year.
Absolutely. And don't forget, it's not just about the people that we read about in books and see on TV. We have fabulous, amazing people right here within our families.
Exactly right. All right, guys, thank you for listening. We appreciate you. Please go down into the episode notes and get all of our social media information. Follow us on this podcast, of course. You can find us on Apple Podcasts or wherever else you get your podcasts. Our Facebook, Twitter, Trisha's blog. Go and follow us on all that information on those social media sites. We would love to hear from you. All right, guys. We'll talk to you later. Take care.
Thanks, guys.